Alright guys, Kremp again today. Hope you're doing well and enjoying your day so far. Drazah and Scrappy got into it big time at the major back in Madrid, and Drazah has taken to the stream to talk about exactly his perspective on what's happened over the last few days. It's happened again. The cycle of the Scrap-Drazah beef continues. We are now at the stage when Drazah talks to the chat about exactly what he thinks about Scrappy on the other side of the stage. He reckons that Scrap was begging for a fist bump, doesn't understand the fact that he's not fist bumped in the last 3 times they played each other. No way to get a fist bump in the grand finals. No respect for Scrappy as far as Drazah is concerned. The beef is absolutely not going away. Very much enjoy your thoughts in the comments. Hit the like button if you enjoy. Subscribe if you're new as always. I would greatly appreciate it. Starting here, I thought with iLLeY was interesting enough because we discussed earlier today some Rostermania ideas. Maybe iLLeY could be involved somewhere, and he was playing Assault's team and then he was playing Raven's team. So yeah, Yoda continues to play challenges for now, but you know, not impossible that he may get a CDL offer at some point in the near future. This I thought was pretty funny as well here. iLLeY and you know, TJ having something of a back and forth anyway. Probably something happened in scrims that well, I don't know, I wasn't actually watching the scrim sets. Maybe there was something that this was related to, and yeah, let me know if you guys know what that is in the comments below, and also let me know in a second here with the Drazah thing as to whether there was anything more to it that I'm misremembering in terms of the timeline of all the beef that's happened between those guys. I'll go through a bit of it in a second just to break down all the details. Before we get there, these were the top KDs of the major, and interestingly to note that there was no FaZe players here. I think Cellium was just behind this, probably at a 1.11, something like that. And of course, they played a lot of Call of Duty, right? Teams that make it all the way through. Especially, for example, like the Thieves. Those guys plays, I mean, Thieves and FaZe, they've had so many maps during the tournaments because they were playing FaZe. So it's kind of expected. Like, FaZe's numbers were very good after the first couple of series, and then they played 12 maps against the Los Angeles Thieves to eventually win the tournament Game 7 round 11. So it's understandable, right, that their numbers probably aren't going to be as good. Although for Thieves, they still maintained a very good performance. Scrappy still averaged a 1.18 in the tournament. Envoy was at a 1.14. I think if Thieves had won that round 11, there would have been a debate as to who would have won it out of those two. You can argue Scrappy was better. You know, I may have been tempted to give the MVP to Envoy. That's a matter for debate, I think. But still, I mean, it shows how good their respawn was as well, that, you know, they were able to maintain these type of KDs despite playing 12 maps against FaZe. Geo, though, was actually the #1 KD. He had a 1.23 this tournament, and, you know, Rocker made it to top 6, then they bowed out. So, yeah, Geo's an interesting player. He's obviously got a lot of talent. I think he definitely needs to be a bit more refined in, like, the way that he approaches the game. Yeah, sometimes where I don't really know what he's doing on the map, but the talent is there, and we know that Nero and Estriel sometimes fit into the same category. So there was some discussion earlier today what roster change they may or may not be looking at. Lynz was actually 4th here. I mean, you can argue whether this really counts or not because he played 1 series. He dropped a 1.13 against OpTic, but of course they lost the series, so technically he comes 4th, but his sample size was obviously far smaller than the likes of the Los Angeles Thieves guys. And then Sib, he played a couple of series. He had a 1.12 overall, so was significantly better on land, but still, Cloud9 bounced out of the tournament top 8, not the result at all that they were looking for. But we've got to talk about this grand finals drama again. This was after the grand finals, after, of course, the winners finals, they fist bumped. And, well, I mean, Scrappy, well, Drazah revealed that they were saying to each other exactly what we might have expected them to be saying. But it's been a big drama for a very long time. And it's interesting, Drazah's perspective on this, because he's not fist bumped him in a while, right? Like, ever since all this drama happens, and when things got very personal, you know, there was talk about, oh, maybe they're going to calm it down a little bit. They're not going to be scrapping anymore on LAN. But no, that's absolutely not the case. So the last few times they played each other, certainly at the Kaysan like 2v2 thing that they did, I think maybe it was Kaysan, whatever it was the 2v2 thing during the off-season that he refused to fist bump at. I remember making a video on that. They then did the Kaysan 4v4 LAN, which, again, he didn't fist bump him at. Then he didn't fist bump in the winners finals. So, you know, I think there was no surprise that there was going to be no fist bump in the grand finals. I think Drazah now as an individual is in an interesting position, right? Because he knows that he's a villain. He knows that he's going to get the FU Drazah chance. He knows that the fans don't like him, really. So, you know, he's just going to say what he wants and embrace it on some level. Whether it's good, whether it's bad for him and his career, like, you know, whether he'd prefer to have some fans. Like, he does have some fans, right? There's FaZe fans, people that support him. But generally speaking, he's the villain of the scene. And that's kind of what Drazah feels about Scrappy here. Like, he thinks that Scrappy is going for the fist bumps to, you know, to come across as the good guy or whatever, right? Which maybe is fair. I mean, at the end of the day, from like a respect, from a sportsmanship perspective, Scrappy going for the fist bump regardless, you know, I think it's better sportsmanship that Drazah is showing. But then again, I understand why Drazah's like, well, I have no respect for this guy after what was said a few months ago, and I will never have any respect for him, so why would I, you know, why would I fist bump him? Scrappy knows that I'm not going to fist bump him, but he's going for the fist bumps anyway to, you know, come across as the good guy. That at least is Drazah's POV.
I was like screaming at, like, we were screaming at each other, me and Scraps, like, I was fist bumping Dan, so I turned around, I was like, not to you. I was like, I'm not speaking to you type thing. What was said? I mean, we were just saying, I was just calling him ass, saying he's dog shit, and he was just saying the same, basically. It was nothing crazy. The thing that's so funny, the 2v2 case-on shit we played, like, right when the season came, like, the LA one, when I was playing with Shotzzy, I didn't fist bump him then. I didn't fist bump him in the 4v4 case-on shit that we lost. I didn't fist bump him in winners finals. Why does he think I'm gonna fist bump him in grand finals? I don't know what's good with him. Like, he's begging for a fist bump. I don't know if it's, like, so people can be on his side or something, but, like, bro, I had no respect for him. I'm not going to fist bump him. And it's just that simple to me. I'm like, bro, I have no respect. I'm not going to fist bump you. And this guy is begging for fist bumps. 3 times in a row, you think I'm going to fist bump you the 4th time? Come on. And anyone crying about that, like, grow the fuck up.
You know? Like, dude, I actually genuinely think some of y'all in the chat just don't like Drazah. Like, people just don't like Drazah. Like, I know Zach, dude. Like, Zach's a good guy. Like, Zach's a great guy. He's a good dude. You know what I mean? Like, Zach's not a bad guy. He's a great guy. You know, he likes to talk shit. He likes to talk shit because that's just how the COD space is. You got to talk shit, like, bro. And everybody likes shit talk. Everybody likes shit talk, bro. You know? And he's a great dad as well. Drazah's a great father. You know what I mean? He's a great dad. He's a good dude. Like, you know what I mean? And, you know, he be shit talking in COD, bro. He be shit talking in COD. What the fucking do? Know how many people your favorite players that you guys all love shit talking COD, have shit talked in COD. You know what I'm saying? It is what it is, bro. It's the same thing with, like, the FaZe being the whole bro. FaZe has been being booed for years, bro.
So I'm not going to go through here the entire Scrappy Drazah beef timeline. I mean, it started with the fidget spinner. I mean, it's an absolute joke, really. But it's mainly accelerated because of Keeks and Darian and the girlfriends involved and all this type of stuff. But I think the general feeling is that certainly after things got personal, not just involving Drazah and his girl, but also his child, that's then when things, you know, went next level in terms of Drazah deciding, all right, Scrappy's effectively dead to me when it comes to giving him any respect after a particular match. So, you know, are they as bad as each other? Who's like, you know, who's the worst one here? I mean, like, maybe it doesn't matter. Who really cares? I'm just happy that the beef is still alive as far as I'm concerned. But anyway, this was, I mean, this is several months ago now. This is after the Toronto major, when you guys probably remember this one. I was trying to find an example of whether Scrappy made it deeply personal about, like, Drazah's child with Keeks. I couldn't exactly find it because I felt like it maybe happened and people were talking about it. I did, of course, find this tweet from Darian, Scrappy's girl. This is back in March when everything really kicked off. And, I mean, these tweets are still sensational to me. And if you guys want to go back and watch the videos on this channel, just, you know, type in Scrappy Drazah or something, and you'll find all of this stuff. But I did have a quick browse through today to try and see if I could find, you know, a tweet where maybe Scrappy said something about Drazah on that level. I mean, look, they said a lot of things about each other. There was this one from Darian, though, when, you know, things got very personal. And I think Drazah has been very clear in his own mind that, okay, like, no respect for Scrappy anymore, not going to deal with it, and that is going to be where he leaves it for now. So, you know, is this fair enough? Like, where do we go from here, I suppose? Because Scrappy and Drazah, their matchups this season are not necessarily going to come to an end yet. All time, the record between Scrappy and Drazah is now particularly interesting. It's a 7-3 LAN record now for Scrappy. Obviously, it could have even been 9-1 had they won both at around 11s in, you know, presumably FaZe. If they'd have dropped down to losers, they'd have beat Miami as well. So who knows what would have happened there. But it's now a 7-3 overall LAN record, which is still very good in Scrappy's favor. But in terms of championship victories, Scrappy has 2 and Drazah has 6. So, you know, it definitely goes one way or the other for now. And I'm very likely likely imagining gonna see plenty more series to come between Drazah and Scrap before the season is out, with FaZe and Thieves hopefully having some other, banger grand finals. So it will be interesting to hear Scrap's perspective on this, because as far as I'm aware, Scrappy has tried to kind of like stop the beef, right? Like as far as he's concerned, he was happy to call it off with Drazah and say, all right, like, the past is the past. We're just going to move on and leave it there. But, Drazah has decided, and maybe fair enough if I was Drazah, seeing some of the things that were said, saying, all right, actually, no, I'm not happy with that. Like, I'm not just going to forgive and forget, as it were. Like, he wants to keep the beef around, and I'm not complaining, right? Keep the beef around as far as I'm concerned, all you like. So very much intrigued to your thoughts in the comment section below. Few other things to mention here today as well. This I thought was pretty interesting. Updated list for most wins in Treyarch titles. And, well, the list is as follows. Interestingly enough, I guess, that, well, some of these games, for example, Treyarch games, if we're talking Sledgehammer games and we're talking Advanced Warfare where they were a million events, because people will say, oh, well, Simp and aBeZy, they are inching closer to surpassing some of the all-time legends, but equally, they're at 7 wins now. RCT's at 6, and we see some of the other names here. But obviously, back in the day, there were maybe more events in the season. But to be fair, a game like Black Ops 3, that wasn't really the case. There weren't many events that year at all. And, BO2, of course, there were quite a few events. BO1, there were, quite a few events. Even Scump and some of these others were winning titles all the way back then. And then Cold War maybe was relatively similar to the present day. And obviously, Simp and aBeZy, they had a fair few victories there. So they're getting closer. And, based on their performance last weekends, they will likely be getting past closer this season. I think that's a decent opportunity for those guys this year. Apparently, this is the blueprint as well, the viewership rewards that you get from watching Major 2 on YouTube. So if you watch and haven't got it, maybe like log a support ticket or something like that. But yeah, this is what it looks like. I actually thought it was pretty cool. They need to do some more stuff like this and maybe advertise it a little bit better as well. That, I know they do talk about it, but there's just so many people that I know or know of who they like Call of Duty, they play Call of Duty, they just have no idea that there's a competitive scene around the game that they could potentially follow and get interested in. Like, it's just such a common story that it does frustrate me quite a bit, because I know there's people out there that would enjoy it, and I know there's loads of new fans, somebody goes out there watching the channel that have only been around for a couple of years, and you found the scene somehow, and maybe you went to Madrid and had a great time, and you probably go back to another event. That's usually how it is. I just find it interesting how it's not like COD is growing from the scene perspective. The size of the scene, shall we say, in terms of overall viewership, has been pretty similar for some time. But the major events attendance is only going up and up. Like every year, I think, we are getting new fans coming to the event, and the fans that came last year want to come back. So, which is a great sign, but it's things like this which are nice, but, maybe there's just more that the league could do, or more than Activision could do, frankly, to make this a better scenario. But very much interested to your thoughts on all of this stuff in the comment section below. Hit the like button if you enjoyed, subscribe if you're new, take care, and I'll see you next time.
Attacks.